Hello, hello students. I hope you all are doing good, working hard, enjoying each and every moment of your life. So this side Sarika, your maths teacher. So in this video, I'm going to explain the chapter coordinate geometry, right? Coordinate geometry. So what is the basics of coordinate geometry? What does it mean? It means that the algebraic methods which we use in order to solve geometric problems. So there are certain geometric problems. Geometry means having the coordinate x's, you draw something, x-axis, y-axis, you draw triangle in the within the x's, right? So geometry problems can be solved by using algebra, right? Means if you have to calculate the distance between A and B, B and E, right? So distance can be calculated by a formula and which is algebra, right? Okay, so now here there is a distance formula which we use in this chapter here in order to find the distance between the 2 points. Suppose the 2 points here are x1 and y1, a point, and b point is x2 and y2. What is x and what is y? These are the coordinates, right? So I'll explain here coordinates. Coordinates means the value from the x-axis, that is called x coordinate, and the value from the y-axis, that is called y coordinate. आप जो यहाँ से x की वैल्यू लेते हैं और वहां से y की लेते हैं, सपोज c पॉइंट है, यहाँ से आपने x लिया, from here you have taken the value of y. So first you write x coordinate, then you write the y coordinate, right? So if you have a point on the x axis, there y is 0, x की वैल्यू कुछ होगी, y की वैल्यू नहीं होगी, right? Similarly here, if we have a point on the y axis, anywhere on the y axis, the value of x is 0, but there is some value of y. So there are four coordinates, first, second, third and fourth, right? The graph paper, right? Whenever these coordinate axes, x-axis and y-axis, it divides that paper into four, that plane, it divides that plane into four coordinates. First quadrant, right? Four quadrants, right? First quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant, right, children? So here, if we have a point in this quadrant, both are positive. From here, x is positive this side, y is positive this side, so it's positive here. So here, if we take the point here this is x negative side. So the x will be negative, y will be positive. Similarly here, negative side of x-axis, negative side of y-axis, both will be negative. अगर आप यहाँ देखोगे point, so y is negative because नीचे को है और x is on the right side, that is positive. So these are called the coordinates, x coordinate, y coordinate, 2, 3, like that. Suppose here A, I'll be taking the example also. This is the general x1, y1 and x2, y2. These are the coordinates of A and B. If you have to find the distance, there is a formula for the distance formula, right? There is a formula which is called distance formula. That is, we subtract the x coordinates and then we square x2 minus x1 square, then plus y2 minus y1 square. आप क्या करेंगे? x के कोऑर्डिनेट को सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे, फिर स्क्वायर करेंगे, y के कोऑर्डिनेट्स को सब्ट्रैक्ट करेंगे, then you will square that and then जो इनके आंसर्स होंगे then you will add them up, फिर उसका स्क्वायर रूट लोगे, right? Here this way we can calculate the distance between A and B. I'll take some points here, right? Suppose A point here is 2 comma minus 3 and B point here is minus 2 and 4. I have taken negative points also, right? So that there is no doubt. So I will be applying the formula this one. So let us do that, right? So here AB will be written as, first we should write the formula, right? Then we will be substituting the values there, right? So what are the values here? So AB will be x2. What is x2? First x1, y1, x2, y2. So what is x2? x2 is minus 2 and then minus 2. Here x2 is minus 2. Then we put that our own negative here according to the formula. Then x1 here is 2. So this is the formula here. We have substituted the value. Now what is y2? y2 is 4. And what is? Here it's minus 3. So you can change the sign here. This becomes positive here. So it becomes minus 4 whole square and it becomes 4. This will be plus, minus, minus, plus 4, 3, 7 whole square. And accordingly, when you square the term, negative term, it becomes positive. Negative, negative, positive हो जाता है. 4 4 जा 16 हो जाएगा. 7 7 जा 49 हो जाएगा. आपका जो भी आता है उसको रूट में लिख लो. 9 and 6 is 15, right? 4 5 6 65. So if it is not possible to take out of the square root, just leave the answer inside the root. right? So what is coordinate geometry, students? Coordinate geometry is the chapter, it is the topic in which we use algebraic methods to solve the geometric problems, right? Like coordinate, we have some certain coordinates, we have plotted certain lines, graphs, triangle, कुछ भी बना लिया आपने, but you want to find the distance between the 2 points. So in order to find the distance, you will be applying some formula, and formulas we use in mathematical part that we use in algebra. So algebra will help it to find the distance. So what is the distance formula here? Distance formula is when we have two coordinates, point A x coordinate, y coordinate, point B x coordinate, y coordinate, we subtract the x coordinates को आप subtract करते हैं, उसका square करते हैं, y coordinates को भी आप subtract करते हैं, उसका square करते हैं. I have taken one example here. ये आपका x1 है, ये आपका x2. x2 माइनस आपको x1 करना है. So accordingly ये वाले जो negatives हैं ये यहाँ पे रहेंगे. And if x2 x1 negative है तो आप वो accordingly signs लिखो. Then see like here y1 was -3, पर यहाँ पे भी एक नेगेटिव था, सो माइनस माइनस वो आपका प्लस हो जाता है. अकॉर्डिंगली आप उसको सॉल्व करें. 4 + 3 7, देन square of this is 16, 7 7 are 49, then you add up, then it becomes 65, right? Yes. So now this way you can find out the distance, right? So there are certain questions in the book, extra books also you can try different types of points where you have to find the distance. Okay children, so now the next topic will be, okay students, now next topic is section formula. Suppose we have a line segment, right? We have the points A and B, we have the coordinates, and there is some point in between, point C, right? And you have to find the coordinates of point C, and you know the ratio in which that point divides. For example here, right? Now we have a line segment, point A and point B we want to find point C. It has been given that ratio is m1 ratio m2, right? So there is a general formula which is written on this basis, that is if we have to find x coordinate, the formula is m1, we have to multiply this m1 this side, m2 this side. So if we are finding the x coordinate हम निकाल रहे हैं तो हम m1 को x2 से multiply करेंगे, m2 को x1 से. So m1 उधर को multiply होता है x2 और m2 उस साइड है तो वो इस साइड multiply होता है, प्लस बीच में है m2 x1 upon sum of m1 plus m2. आप नीचे जो रेशियो है you have to add that ratio, right? So I hope it's clear. क्या करना है, रेशियो है, रेशियो ऑपोजिट मल्टीप्लाई होती है. this is m1 is multiplied this side, m2 is multiplied this side. If we are talking about the x coordinate, so हम रेशियो के साथ x वाले ही कोऑर्डिनेट मल्टीप्लाई करेंगे, right? Like m1 के साथ x2, m2 के साथ x1. अगर हम we are finding out the y coordinate, so we'll be multiplying ratio with the y coordinate. Now y1 m1 into y2, m1 y2 plus m2 y1, m2 इस साइड मल्टीप्लाई होगा y1. I'm multiplying y1 because I'm finding out the y coordinate. So here is the ratio. You just find out the sum of the ratio, right? So now here m1 x2 m2, m1 x2 m2 x1 upon m1 plus m2, and here m1 y2 m2 y1 upon m1 plus m2. Okay, जो ratio है then we add up in the denominator. Let us take one example here. We have a point A, we have a point B, we want to find the C, x and y, right? So this is the ratio, this is m1, this is m2. m1 is we are supposed to multiply this side, m2 this side. अगर आपने x कोऑर्डिनेट निकालना है तो आपने 2 को इससे मल्टीप्लाई करना है x कोऑर्डिनेट से, इस 3 को आपने x कोऑर्डिनेट से मल्टीप्लाई करना है. अकॉर्डिंगली इफ यू वांट टू फाइंड द y coordinate, then you have to multiply that ratio opposite to the y coordinate, right? So now here let us do that. If you want to find this point C का x जो है that will be 2 into 3 x coordinate plus इधर का ratio 3 है और here the x coordinate that is -2. So upon the sum of the ratio, इसका sum 2 plus 3 that is 5. So here the answer will be 3 2s are 6, 3 2s are 6 upon 5, and that is 0 by 5 that is 0. So आपको x मिल गया that is 0. Now let us find the y, right? y आपका क्या होगा? Now you are supposed to multiply this 2 with -5 उधर y कोऑर्डिनेट के साथ, और आपका जो ये 3 है आप इसको इंटू करेंगे 5 के साथ. अब y कोऑर्डिनेट के साथ ही we are supposed to multiply, right? So here the 2 plus 3 that is the same part. minus 5 to the 10 plus 5 3 is 15, and here it is 3 plus 2 5. So here it comes out to be, right, 5 by 5, and that is 1, right? 15 minus 10 is 5, 5 by 5 is 1. So what is this point C? That is 0, 1. So with the help of the corner points, right, line segment के जो corner points हैं, with the help of those points and the ratio in which that line, that C point divides that line, तो you can find out the coordinates. You can find the coordinates of that point C. अगर आपके पास ratio है, आपके पास corner points हैं, ratio की help से corner points जो है उसके coordinates से आप उस पॉइंट सी के कोऑर्डिनेट्स निकाल सकते हो, राइट? सो आई होप द सेक्शन फॉर्मूला इज क्लियर. सेक्शन मींस इट डिवाइड्स दैट पार्ट इनटू सम सेक्शन. लाइन को कुछ सेक्शन में डिवाइड करता है, इतने बाय इतने, 2/3 और 3/2 और 1/1 रेशियो और 2:5, राइट? सो कुछ सेक्शन में डिवाइड करता है. तो दिस इज अ फॉर्मूला टू फाइंड द कोऑर्डिनेट्स जिस सेक्शन में वो सी उस लाइन को डिवाइड करता है. नाउ द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक विल बी, okay, now let us see the next topic. That, okay students, if we have to apply the section formula in order to find the midpoint, midpoint अगर होगा तो equally divided होगा, तो रेशियो क्या होगी उसमें? 1:1, right? So if we have two corner points of the line segment and we have that center C, C is the center midpoint, so the ratio will be 1:1 क्योंकि वो equally divide करेगा तो ratio 1:1 होगी. So let us find a formula directly for the midpoint, right? So क्या करेंगे आप? 1 into x2, 1 into x2 plus this 1, this is the x coordinate, right? So here 1 into x1 upon 1 plus 1. So it will become x2 plus x1 upon 2, right? Similarly, y coordinate भी वैसे ही होगा, 1 into y2 plus 1 into y1 on 1 plus 1, and that is y2 plus y1 on 2. So in order to find the midpoint C, directly we add the x coordinates, divide by 2, and add y coordinates and just divide by 2. So directly if we have to find the midpoint, हमें midpoint निकालना है, तो हम बार बार ये 1:1 फॉर्मूला नहीं लगाते हैं. There is a direct formula. आप just x कोऑर्डिनेट्स को ऐड कर लो, डिवाइड बाय 2, y कोऑर्डिनेट्स को ऐड कर लो, डिवाइड बाय 2. क्योंकि ऐड क्यों करना है? क्योंकि रेशियो इज 1:1. सो व्हेन वी आर मल्टीप्लाइंग 1 by x2, the answer x2 आ रहा है, 1 into x1 आंसर x1 आ रहा है. So x coordinates add होते हैं, divide by 2. 2 क्यों? क्योंकि ratio is 1:1. So there is a direct formula which we use for the midpoint, कि हम coordinates को add कर लेते हैं, divide by 2 बस. So this is a small direct formula of midpoint which we have derived from the section formula. Okay, now students, let us do one question here related to this only section formula. Find the ratio in which y coordinate, y axis, right, divides the line segment joining the points this and this. Now here we have two corner points here, right? Solution. Now A point is 5, -6, and the B point is -1, -4, right? Now this point here, suppose it is C. We have to find the ratio. Whenever you have to find the ratio, you just write here K ratio 1. K की कुछ value आएगी, वो ratio हो जाएगी, right? So here its coordinates are x and y, but here they are saying that in which y axis divides. The line is a y axis. Y axis पे every point पे x 0 होता है. So here coordinate x coordinate is 0 और y होगा, right? If they will say x को x axis है या x coordinate है या passes through the x axis like something like that, वहाँ y 0 होगा. अब they are saying y axis पे x every point पे 0 होता है. So here I've got one hint that x coordinate is 0. So what we will do, we will find the x coordinate from here and equate to 0. So हम इसका x coordinate निकालते हैं. जो इसका x coordinate होगा, that will be k into -1, k into -1 plus 1 into this side is 5 upon k plus 1. This is the ratio k and 1. So we need to add, denominator में हम add करते हैं. So this is equal to 0. Why 0? Because यहाँ पे x coordinate तो 0 है, right? So now let us solve. ये तो पूरा 0 हो गया. So minus k plus 5 1 5 equals to 0. This whole goes there and becomes 0. So k goes to the right side, right? Positive हो जाता है. 5 वहीं रहता है तो हम इसको सीधा करके लिख लो. So k की वैल्यू आई 5. So we have to find the ratio, और ratio आपकी क्या है? ratio is k ratio 1. The value of k is 5, 5 ratio 1. So this point here, this point C, it divides in the ratio 5 ratio 1 such that these are the corner points and it passes through y-axis, right? Which the y-axis would say that divides the line segment, right? There is a line segment, y-axis passes through it. y-axis पे x तो 0 होगा, x 0 होगा तो हमने x coordinate निकाल लिया in terms of k, उसको 0 डाला and solving finding out the value of k. जब k की value आ गई तो you have got the ratio. Suppose value of k comes in fraction. Suppose if the value of k is 2 by 3, right? So we know that our ratio is k ratio 1. अब ये तो फ्रैक्शन में आ गया तो आप क्या करोगे 2 by 3 ratio 1. आप इसका एलसीएम लेते हो, राइट? एलसीएम से क्या होगा, दोनों का एलसीएम सेम बनाते हैं तो इसको 3 से इंटू करना पड़ेगा तो ये बन जाएगा 2 ratio 3. हम डिनोमिनेटर्स नहीं लेते हैं फिर, राइट? सो इन दैट केस इफ द वैल्यू ऑफ k इज इन फ्रैक्शन, आपकी फ्रैक्शन में आती है तो आप यहाँ लिखोगे 2 ratio 3 1. आप उसको सेम डिनोमिनेटर बनाने के लिए 3 यहाँ इंटू करोगे तो न्यूमरेटर में क्या होता है 3. So 2 and 3 फिर आपका आंसर आएगा. We don't take the denominator then, right? So if k is in fraction, then this way you have to find the ratio. अगर k जो है whole number में आता है या natural number में, then you get the directly the ratio. So what was the question about? Finding the ratio. तो जब ratio का question आता है तो then put that ratio k ratio 1. ऐसे questions में कुछ hint मिला होगा, इन दोनों में से कोई zero होगा एक, राइट? इन दोनों में से 0 होगा तो या तो वो x एक्सिस लिखेंगे, x एक्सिस लिखा होगा तो आप y कोऑर्डिनेट को 0 डालो. उस केस में फिर आप x कोऑर्डिनेट नहीं निकालोगे, आप y निकालो यहाँ से एंड जस्ट इक्वेट टू 0. पर यहाँ पे हियर इन दिस क्वेश्चन x कोऑर्डिनेट 0 था क्योंकि y एक्सिस जो है वो डिवाइड करती थी लाइन. सो हियर x कोऑर्डिनेट दैट इज 0. सो वी जस्ट फाउंड हियर x कोऑर्डिनेट एंड वी जस्ट इक्वेटेड एंड वी गॉट द वैल्यू ऑफ k and we found the ratio. Now let us do the next question, students. Okay, students, now I have written one more question here. If P2, P is the midpoint of the line segment joining the points A and B, find the value of P. Now here P is a midpoint, right? Midpoint means the ratio will be 1 ratio 1. We have the corner points A and B. So we have the point P, 2, P, but we have to find this value of P, which is a y coordinate, right? So we'll be applying the section formula here. In order to find P, let its coordinates be x and y, right? Suppose x and y. So y coordinate here is P, and which, how do we find y coordinate? 1 into multiply by y coordinate, right? 1 into minus 5 upon 1 plus 1. Let us solve this, right? So let us solve it here. 11 1 is 11. Here it's minus 5 in the bracket, minus 5 upon 2. So it becomes 6 by 2 and that is 3. Right? So here the value of P, that is 3. So this question was very simple. P point was the midpoint. So we had the ratio M or N, M1, M2 जो है यहाँ पे 1 ratio 1 था. So I didn't find out the x coordinate because already there is a value. No need to find out. We need to find out the value of P, which is y coordinate. So apply the formula of the y coordinate and just find out the value of P, and that will be 3. Now the next question. Okay, students, now we will be doing one question of distance formula, right? So we have 4 coordinates A, B, C, D, and we have to check whether these are the coordinates of a square or not. So for square, we know that all sides are of equal length. So let us find out the distance between AB, BC, CD and DA. If the distances will be the same, all the distances will be same, then it will be a square. Otherwise, no, it will not be a square. So let us use this distance formula. Here, how to find AB? Here, this A and B, right? X2 minus X1, 3 minus 1 square, and Y2 is 4. आपको subtract करना है, and we just have to find out the answer. 3 minus 1 is 2, right? And here it is 2. 2 square is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. Let us leave it there only. Then BC, right? Now BC. Now we have to check B and C. Now here in this B and C, ये x2 है आपका, ये x1 है, इसका square है, and 4 minus 4 is, right? Then this is minus 2 whole square, and this is 4 minus 4 is 0. So answer will be 2 2s are 4 and that is 2. 2 to the 4, 4 का 2 बाहर आ जाता है और you can write this as a 2 root 2, right? Now, CD. We have proved from the two sides only as they are not equal. So we will say that no, it is not a square, right? You can find out CD also and DA also. Let us find CD. CD में 2 minus 1 square, x2 minus x1 or 8 minus 4 square. So the answer will be 2 minus 1 is 1 square, 8 minus 4 is 4 square, then it becomes 1 plus 4 is 16, root 17. सब different answers आ रहे हैं. DA. अगर आप DA लेते हैं तो 1 minus 2 square and 2 minus 8 square, that will be 1 square, and here minus 6 square, and that becomes 1, and 6 6 are 36, and that becomes 37. So we will say that no, these vertices are not of a square. Right? So these are not the vertices of a square, right? So what you have to do to prove this it is a square, you just have to find the distance. आप distance formula लगाएंगे, आपके पास points हैं, 4 points हैं, आप दो one line का आपका distance निकालना है आपको, one side, you have to find one side of the square, just find out the distance between the two coordinates, right? So similarly, if you have to prove it is a rectangle, so you will be proving that two sides come equal, opposite sides, right? Similarly, if you have to prove the parallelogram में भी क्या होता है, opposite sides equal आती है. But what is the difference between a rectangle and a parallelogram? Rectangle में भी opposite side same होती है, parallelogram में भी same होती है. फिर आप diagonal check करोगे. Diagonal ऐसे ऐसे जो points होंगे A और C और B और D के points, you will find out the distance. Diagonals are equal in rectangle. अगर diagonals equal आते हैं तो वो rectangle है, और अगर diagonals equal नहीं आते हैं लेकिन opposite sides तो equal है तो वो parallelogram है. Parallelogram में diagonals equal नहीं होते हैं, right? वो एक छोटे बड़े होते हैं, different sides के होते हैं. But in a rectangle the diagonals are equal. So you can check which type of quadrilateral it is, right? So you can do distance formula, you can use distance formula, find out the distances and do the types of question which is asked. Then is the section formula. In section formula, sometimes we have to find out the ratio, sometimes we have to find the value of P, sometimes we have to find that coordinate which divides that line segment in some ratio. So this chapter is not very difficult. It's all about finding out the distance and finding out the ratio by the or the point by the section formula. So I'm done with this chapter, children. So you can try other questions of your NCERT book, other books you can follow, right? Do some extra questions also. So work hard. Okay, thank you, children. God bless you. Right? Stay blessed.